I have an appointment coming up to consign some clothes, so I'm going to get all of that clothing ready and kind of talk through that process with you. I'm also going to talk about decluttering and finding your own personal style, which I'm not an expert in, but it's something that something that I'm passionate about and I feel like I'm getting better at. All of us can figure out things that we feel good in and that like our colors and all that. And then also just fun ways to organize your closet, and I've played around with a lot of different ways. Let's just talk through all of that. So I have a turnstile appointment coming up where I'm going to bring in clothing and some home items and they can choose what they want to put in their store, and then I'll get paid if it sells. And I have a stockpile of stuff in the basement that I just pull from when I have these appointments based on whatever season it is that we're like moving into. And so at this point, it's going to be a lot of fall and winter items because they have enough summer stuff to get through the rest of the season and they're going to be shifting over soon. I used to do Poshmark, and I think that technically probably gives you more dollar amount per item, but it is a lot of work. Like, you have to list everything. I feel like I end up hanging on for things a lot longer, and I just like the idea of taking it. If they don't take it at Turnstile, I just donate it and then we kind of move on. And with Poshmark, I was just hanging on to things for a while, and it's a lot of work to, create the listing and take pictures, answer any questions people have, and to be reposhing it so that's showing up at the top of people's searches. And I also end up being on the app a lot, which I find clothing to buy, which is not great. Like, I look for all the good deals and it's just like kind of addicting. So I kind of moved away from doing that, although it was nice for a time. And if you have time for it and you want to do that, that's awesome and go for it. But I've found that consigning is a really great option, and I have better success with Turnstile than I do the other places like Clothes Mentor or Plato's Closet, where they'll give you cash like directly. And one thing to note about Turnstile is they want everything on hangers because that's easier for them to look through everything, and then they transfer them to their own hangers if they're going to take it from you. For walk-in appointments, it's 25 items or less, and if you're doing an appointment, you kind of get to choose how much you're bringing in, and then they'll just allot that amount of time for you. So I've found that the appointments are just a better use of time because you have to stay in the store while they're looking through your stuff, and if you have to wait for an open rack to put your stuff on for an hour and then they're looking at it for the next however long, it can just end up being a really long time in the store, which it is fun to look around. But with an appointment, it's just a lot quicker. And I know that I said I don't like Poshmark because I end up shopping a lot, but I feel like going in the store for that allotted amount of time and finding some goodies is a more healthy way to approach it, especially because I'm there because I'm giving items and for sure getting them out of my closet. And so if I bring a few more in, no big deal, right? I found a really nice vest and a fun pom-pom shirt, some athletic tank tops, and just some cute blouses and dresses and all of that fun stuff. I also found a Hearth and Hand radio, and it actually works, and it's also a Bluetooth speaker, and so I was really excited about that find because it's green and it matches everything else in our living room. And so now I've kind of counted out everything and I'm ready to bring this on Saturday. Now, I love watching decluttering videos from other YouTubers, and I just find it so inspiring and encouraging to go and do my own declutter. So I wanted to show that process to all of you and maybe do some of that same inspiring. And by watching all of those videos, I've also picked up some good tips along the way, and so I just want to bring all of those into this video so you can learn a few with me. The first is helpful for decluttering, but also for what you buy and end up putting in your closet, and it's just knowing your style and your colors. So you don't necessarily need to go get your colors done, even though I do kind of want to do that, because something as simple as that can really help you be mindful about what you're buying. I actually listened to a Lazy Genius podcast, and she was talking about how to find your style, and it's not necessarily that you have to be the most stylish person all the time. It's about knowing what kind of styles you actually like and feel good in and feel confident in. I like to be modern, but I also like to be minimalist and kind of aesthetically pleasing, like neutrals, but I also like to be outdoorsy and sporty. There's all of these versatile styles, and for so long I felt like I needed to pick one. And the truth is, what I really like is feeling feminine. I can layer in being feminine across all of those things. So if I'm gonna be outdoorsy, how can I add a feminine twist? What is it that feels modern but also feminine? Actually, for example, these pants that I'm wearing now, these were in my maybe pile because I felt like they just weren't super feminine for some reason. I think it's because they remind me a little bit of camo, but they were in my maybe, and I was like, I just have to wear them and see how I feel. And what I did today, which my hair's up now, but I had this shirt on because it's fluttery, it feels more feminine, and I had my hair down all day, and I had some cute white sneakers that had a little bit of texture to them, and I felt pretty good in these pants. Like, I'm gonna keep them and I would wear them again. So that was a good way for me to make use of something that I already had in my closet that I liked, but there was something like, ooh, how can I make this work for me? And it's just knowing those tips about yourself that is really helpful. And another thing that I found is that I usually feel best in neutrals because I like to coordinate with the things around me. So even like my nail polish, which right now they're bare, but even like my water bottle or my coffee cup, I like to coordinate with them. And when I'm working from home, I like to match my background, and my background has some pops of green. And so I've actually found that neutral to me is like the lighter colors of like white and tan and gray, and then also green. I'm lumping green into my neutrals. And black, I really just don't wear black. I don't gravitate towards it. It feels dark. I also think it shows my hair color and my dog's hair color, and it just shows lint, and I feel like I just don't draw to it. And so that's been really helpful for me because I feel like black is a neutral, so I should like it. And then when it comes to pops of color, like there's of course times that I want to do that, and so it's just knowing what colors look good on me. So for example, I mean, I've gotten compliments when I wear brown or yellow. Like, I actually do feel really good in like a butter yellow or like a brown, and so I gravitate towards those a little bit more now. And I also think that green and blue can do some stuff with my eyes, so it's like just playing with that stuff. And I think unfortunately pink isn't like my best color because I think it just brings out the redness in my face. And you don't have to put yourself like in a box where you feel like you can only wear certain colors. I don't mean to put that on you at all. It's just like knowing what you're gonna feel good in. And ultimately, like, I feel better when I wear even like a lavender compared to a pink, and I don't know why that is, but I just go with it. And if you have a favorite sweater that is a color that you don't think looks good on you, who cares? But just for information, the more information that you can have, the more educated you can be when you're buying clothes, putting stuff in your closet, deciding what to keep, deciding what to get rid of. And the other thing that I recently learned is that I do really like bright colors when I'm working out. Callie Gullickson, a Peloton instructor, she always wears bright colors when she works out, and she said it just like motivates her. I do the same thing now, and I seriously do love it. And so that's kind of a fun area where I can have those brighter pops of color. Other things style-wise, I'm done with pants that aren't long enough. And it's funny because these are kind of capris, but they're talls. They're from Old Navy and they are talls. I recently gave up some sweatpants that I got in college that I really loved, but they were way too short on me, and I gave them to my friend, and they look amazing on her. And I'm like, wow, these did not belong on me. Like, these are meant for someone who is shorter. And I also learned that I like maxi skirts over mini skirts now a little bit more because I can wear them to work or church and not feel like it's too short. And I also don't wear jeans a ton, but I've also kind of learned like, okay, I love like a straight jean. Like skinny jeans, I don't love as much anymore. If it feels too baggy, I don't feel good in it. A straight jean is really like my best bet. But over jeans, I love flowy pants or dresses or maxi skirts. Like I just love that. And so, you know, I'll mix in jeans every once in a while, but it's fun to know like what you're gonna be excited to wear. And so I hope all of that just kind of gives you some ideas of like what to grasp for and like what to look for in your own closet as you wear it, like what makes you feel great and what doesn't. And it will probably change. Another big learning is that you don't have to keep it just because it's cute, or just because you bought it recently, or just because it's sentimental. But the main takeaway, you don't have to keep it. You're like putting this pressure on yourself that you have to keep something. Your guilt should not be making these decisions about what you are choosing to keep in your space. It's taking up space, not only physical space, but mental space. Because when I look at my closet and I see just a bunch of gook, like I have to like weed through to what do I actually like, it's exhausting and it's overwhelming. Customize your closet to something that's really gonna bring you joy. And I think with some things in my closet, it's like, it's still cute, but I've had it for 4 years and I just kind of feel like it's run its course, but I'm like, I should still keep it because it's cute. But it's like, if I feel like I'm just wearing the same thing over and over again and it's feeling stale, I can give that to someone else where it's new to them, and then I can get something that's actually new to me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You're just refreshing your wardrobe. And if you're, especially like when I go to a consignment store or a thrift store or get something like on good sale, like it's not like I have to break the bank in order to do that. And maybe even just clearing out that stale piece could help you to see something else in your closet that you haven't been wearing because you just default to what you already know. And another thing is, if it's cute but you don't reach for it, ask yourself why. Like, is it the fabric? Is it the pattern? Is it the color? There's got to be something about it for why you're not reaching for it. In my example with the pants, it was because they didn't feel super feminine to me. When I identified that, I was able to kind of play with it and be like, okay, yeah, I can dress it up to be more feminine, and then I like them. And maybe there's something that, you know, you can't change that about it, and so that's your reason for giving it up. I like the idea of like something that sparks joy, but sometimes you do have to get specific and intentional with why, so that you can make those informed decisions and it's not all just based on like how you feel when you look at it. And something that I learned from the Minimal Mom is that if something's in bad condition, it's okay to throw it away. If you give it to a thrift store, they're just ultimately gonna have to waste their resources and throw it away, or they're gonna have to just dig through a bunch of gross stuff. And like, you don't wanna do that to somebody. If you can turn it into a dog toy or use it as a rag, great. But if it's really been worn into the ground, it's okay to have to, I mean, you used the thing. You used it to its fullest extent. You don't have to feel bad about throwing something away. And that was a good reminder for me, because it feels a little bit wrong for some reason. Like, I just want to donate everything, because then it's not my problem, right? And so you don't want to just put that problem on somebody else. Just give stuff that would be worth reselling. And on the sentimental note, if you have like a stack of a bunch of like college t-shirts or just sentimental shirts, one cool idea, you've probably heard of like the t-shirt blanket, but something that I did was I took little snippets and like fabric scraps of all of those shirts that I had from college, and I put them on the back of a jean jacket, and that made it into one piece instead of one huge stack, and now it's like a statement piece. And the third point ties to something that I already mentioned, which is that your stuff takes up physical and mental space. And so when you start to take that approach, I think it's really helpful, because you start to see it as more than just hanging on to something because maybe one day I'll wear it, or, you know, it's still cute, or, you know, it's still worth having, or I bought it recently and I just don't reach for it, but I feel like I should, so I'm going to keep it a little longer. And it's like, that's just going to weigh on your mind. I decluttered my sweatshirts and I just got so overwhelmed. Ultimately, I wear the same like 3 sweatshirts because I'm just overwhelmed by what I have. So you don't want that either. Like, don't let yourself get to that point. And one thing that I'll say on that really has helped me is that if you don't feel like you're ready to get rid of something, you can put it in a bin. So like, I have sweatshirts in a bin that I'm just gonna cycle through, because my sweatshirts will feel new to me if I don't wear them for a year. So if just on like I can get in the habit of like, okay, I have these 15 sweatshirts out, and then I'll switch out those other 15 later. Feels like you have 15 new sweatshirts, but it's just the same stuff that you're kind of cycling through. So you don't have to get rid of it and like let go of it, because that feels hard for me for something that like, yeah, I do like it, I have too much. And when you get to that point, like, you just kind of have to either find a way to get rid of it, or you can come up with a system like that where you're like cycling through them. And I do the same thing with t-shirts as well. And another thing that I learned from a YouTuber is that you can think of your closet as like each thing is serving a function. And so if you have something that serves that function, your needs are met, and you don't need to be feeling like you don't have enough. It's like, this neutral flat is gonna work with anything. If I have this like fancier, nicer sandal that I can wear, great, I don't need a bunch more sandals. And if I have these like basic tennies that can go with any outfit, I don't need a bunch of them. I'm at the point where I have like a white sneaker, and then a white sneaker with texture, and then a white sneaker that has like purple stripes on the side, a gray sneaker, and a light pink sneaker. Like, do I really need all of those? No, but then I'm also like, I'm gonna wear them into the ground and then not rebuy when they get bad. That also might help you identify like, where are the areas that you do want to play with multiples. Like, I would say that dresses is one area where like, yeah, I have a flowy dress that I could wear to like a fun outdoor party, but I want multiple of those because I love wearing dresses, and like, I wear dresses to work a lot. And so it's like knowing where you're okay like having duplicates, and then where you want to just be simple. Like, do you wear the same 3 pairs of jeans all the time? You don't need to buy more jeans, you have that function served. I will say, like, my husband is really good at this. I'll be like, oh, there's shorts on sale, like, and I think they're like kind of different ones that you might like. Do you want them? And he's like, I have enough shorts. And I'm like, aren't you excited about the prospect of having more? And he's like, no. I'm like, good for you. But I keep the economy spinning, I guess. So with all of that, one kind of interesting thing is trying to play with your closet and the way that you organize it. So I have 2 closets, which I'm very fortunate for that, and I am very grateful for it. I won't always have 2 closets when, Lord willing, we have kids. But right now I have this closet behind me and then the one in our bedroom, because our bedroom has 2 closets. And I played with it for a while where like the main things I was wearing were in that closet, and then in this one it was like the pops of color that I don't normally reach for, but it was like if I felt like, ooh, I wanted to wear something bright and fun, I would come over here. That was fun for a while because it was nice to just look at a closet of things that I consistently wear on a daily basis and not have that like burden of what am I gonna wear, like what do I like, what do I reach for every day. Now I've decided to play with it where I have pretty much all the stuff that I would wear on a day-to-day basis in that closet, and then in here I have my athletic outfits and my t-shirts, and then also anything that's hanging up that is out of season. And so I have a couple bins in the basement of things that are out of season, like sweaters, but then I also have some stuff that's hanging up, and so I have that kind of separated out so that I'm not looking at it every day and have to make the decision, oh, this is out of season. And so with that, think about what might be helpful for you on how you want to organize your closet. Is it color coordinated, or do you have like a work section and like a for fun, like casual section? Do you have it organized by season? Like what makes sense for you, and what's going to make it easier to like look at your closet and just be excited about what's in there? And if less options is more for you, you can try the same thing where you have like a rotational system where even if you don't have a second closet to store stuff in, can you put it in a bin? Be like, this is clothes that I'm gonna reach for in like a few months, and just stick to these for a while. Really get to know those pieces that are in your closet, and then kind of decide like, what do I want to keep and what do I not, and really use all of them to figure that out. And then you can start reintroducing some of the pieces from the bin that you put away. I hope all of that is helpful and hopefully just gets you kind of excited about what's in your closet currently and what you don't want in your closet anymore, and how you can clear up some space both physically and mentally. I think this is just a journey that's just gonna continue. Like I come back and declutter all the time. It's kind of fun. Like, is decluttering a hobby? Maybe it is. Like it feels like refreshing to like refresh your closet, and that doesn't mean you always have to be buying new things. You can just switch things up. Thank you for watching.